Hey everybody, welcome back to another Stoneface Reactions. I'm Griffin, that's Theta, and we are here to watch Trigun Stampede, the brand new Trigun series that has some 3D to it that is questionable.
That somebody wanted.
That somebody wanted.
So I
So
guess my question for you, Griff, is did you watch Trigun?
I did, and in kind of various parts. It's hard to say if I've seen it literally straight through at any one point, but I've definitely seen the first half, which is basically a bunch of incidental stories, and the second half, which is where a lot of the big stuff finally goes down and it gets crazier.
Did you know that Trigun is the anime with the most filler?
That would make complete sense.
The vast majority of Trigun that you've seen was made up for the anime. Kind of like
Ah,
the way that Full Metal Alchemist made up the entire back end because there was no anime there. I don't know why Trigun is so much filler, but essentially everything that you know, well, let's say 30 to 40% of everything you know about Trigun was filler.
right. And you know what? That's fine. I think the reason that I like Trigun is one, the main character was interesting. Two, it had genuine funny moments and genuine dramatic moments. And three, it really kind of established its theme and sense of place and like stuck to it and made the world kind of interesting. Because it has, of course, the weird difference between like the sci-fi aesthetic and of course just standard Western cowboy stuff. Literally even at that level. And those two clash and combine in very interesting ways.
Well, I feel like, oh, I guess I should also answer the question myself. Yes, I've also seen Trigun. I've seen it all the way through in order, and I've also watched the movie. Did you watch the movie, Riff?
I don't think so.
Okay. I don't think it's going to matter at all. It was
Probably
probably filler too. But, so I just
right,
wanted to
right,
throw it
right.
out there. I think the elephant in the room, though, is the fact that Trigun Stampede changes a bunch of the characters that we all know and love. I guess it's supposed to be more accurate
Mhm.
in that way that, you know, everyone loved the Johnny Depp Willy Wonka more than Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, right? Because of its accuracy.
Of course, of course. That's exactly what everyone said, and no one had anything bad to say about
Of
it.
course not. So, I'm not going to speak any more to that. But
So, yeah,
there's
let's get the
no,
flaming puppet show going.
no. Let's not segue off here yet. We're
Okay,
still,
okay.
still on the treadmill of thoughts.
Mhm.
No Millie Thompson getting the elephants in the room out.
Which, absolute shame.
It is replaced with, I believe, and this is not a joke, Robert De Niro. No, not the actor Robert De Niro, just a character named Robert De Niro. Because why not, I guess.
Names are names. You can have more than one person with the same name, and
Sure,
in the future on another planet.
sure. Also, Meryl, no longer working for the.
Insurance company of
See,
some
I
type.
knew that much. I'm looking for the first word. Werner Deli? Is that it? Werner Deli
Maybe.
Insurance Company? Agency? Insurance
Yeah,
agency?
yeah.
I think it was Werner Deli. I want to say that. I'll get corrected if anybody cares. Hopefully they won't. Now working for a newspaper where she's not even in charge anymore. You remember in the Meryl Millie relationship, Meryl was in charge, Millie was the sidekick. Now Meryl is the sidekick. You know who's in charge?
Robert De Niro.
There you go. Why
Oh,
not, right?
how did I call it?
Why not go from a female duo with a relationship that doesn't involve men? Like, they pass the Bechtel test in that they have conversations that don't involve men,
A lot of it is about accounting.
right? And, I mean, albeit some of it is about Vash the Stampede, but it's not like
It
It's
It's
not
not the only thing they ever talk to each other about. They have a relationship with each other that is not dependent on other
right.
characters.
Vash is just a goal-oriented product of the job. They're not talking about Vash because of Vash. They're talking about Vash because of their work.
Yeah.
So instead of that relationship, how about we go to a male-dominated one where your boss is a man and you're just the sidekick now?
Again, what a shame, really. I can only hope that they have their own thing going on that makes them interesting and exciting to at least make me forget about the very good relationship we used to have.
Well, apparently Robert De Niro was a drunk, I guess.
Alright, expectations lowering.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have high expectations. I don't think many people actually wanted this new Trigun Stampede. I think we're actually, as a channel, shooting ourselves in the foot. But we respect the results of a vote, unlike many people on January 6th. So here we are, following through on obligations to you, the American people. I don't know where I'm going anymore. Save me,
Vote
Griff.
data president 20 whatever. So, I think with all that said, let's go ahead and watch and see what we can get out of Trigun Stampede. Space, the final frontier.
Well, you remember in
Jeez.
the original Bash, this Trigun, they come from somewhere else, spaceships and whatnot.
Yup.
So instead of doing that halfway through the series, I guess we're doing it now with
Here
the
we go.
Death
That's some.
Star.
Yeah, no, this is some good Dune vibes, I think.
I mean, it is a desert planet.
Spice must
I'm
flow.
getting real Spaceballs vibes now.
Seed sauce.
Because they're plants. Get it?
Yeah, I get it. They've got a theme.
Now, if this follows, we should get a Knives who
And
fucks
he.
everything up.
Yeah, I was about to say, oh, the 3D robot looks kind of cool, actually. Sorry, the whole thing is going to be in 3D. Why should I preface things like that?
Well, technically not. I'm not wearing 3D glasses or anything.
You've angered them.
Begun the Clone Wars have.
Oh yeah, tracking shots. We don't get many of those when it comes to like traditional like animation, right?
I mean, you could. I mean, it's just all planned.
But it's a very film kind of angle and little cut. Yeah, it's exaggerating, but come with me to the escape pods.
See, all of this was given like a full episode in the original. So that when he screams out for Rem, you feel it.
Yeah.
Now, if this is all new, I don't know who the fuck she is. Like I said, my only emotional context for this right now is the original. I'm sad because of the original Trigun.
Right. Until we learn more about the character here. But we're starting off with the tragedy. We actually know the greater context of the story instead of Trigun, which just starts off with, "Yeah, now we're just hanging out in town."
It's basically like we were rewatching Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood after
Hmm.
Full Metal Alchemist, where right now we already know Knives is an asshole, and Nye is obviously Knives. This is all his fault.
They're definitely going all out with just, this little set dressing here, going through all
Landed,
the debris.
landed on the wrong goddamn planet, by the way. There's a green planet there in the background.
It's just right over there, everyone. You could have had it. Nope, desert forever.
Imagine looking up at a green verdant moon on your desert ass planet. As someone that hates cigarettes, I hate this. Physically repulsed by this.
Yeah. So he drinks too much, he smokes too much. What's his face gonna be? Oh, okay. Alright, Meryl's still Meryl.
Honestly, though, this art style is like from a PlayStation 4 game. Like, I would have expected to see it 5 to 10 years ago.
The animation is just like a little too slow. Like it gives that exaggerated motion, right?
Well, it's, Nino Kunai is the best example I could give.
Hmm.
Like, not the drawn scenes, but the CGI animated scenes between
Yeah.
during gameplay. I feel like I'd be a little bit more concerned.
Guess who's in charge of the car?
Oh no, it's an overlay inception again. The only thing different is I added a Vash to it.
Up, and they're dead in the desert. Well, good way to start off.
I think it's a similar vibe to the original's opening. So you think we're gonna get the thing where we had a ton of people that look like Vash, and we have to figure out which one's the right one?
Oh, totally.
No, I just made an arm out of gum.
Oh yeah, he was gonna die over there. It's gonna be a picture of Ash.
Well, yeah, I guess they're not gonna have any confusion because these posters are like a lot more on point. Oh, I was just thinking, why would you lie? It's like, oh, right, you have your own. What the fuck is she doing?
Emoting all over the place.
You remember when Meryl was a strong character?
I guess we're getting starting Meryl. Hopeland Orphanage.
I mean, that's something we didn't get in the original. A map.
Yeah. And the bar just goes quiet. Oh no, we have a new
No,
customer. Stare at them.
the guy that was on the posters near the door, I can't see him here in this shot, was the guy who steals the giant train in the original. That guy.
Oh.
He looks like it, doesn't he?
Yeah, it kind of does. So that's gonna happen.
I mean, the name doesn't seem right, but
They're friendly ropes.
I mean, the characterization of Vash still seems to be the same.
Right, he's basically a giant child. Good water, very clean.
Maryland?
I can't remember. I don't think he actually interacted a whole lot with various technological stuff before, did he?
He did. You remember the. Sorry, I apologize to the audience. The big breasted woman on the train who was supposed to be a plane technician who he was romancing, but she was secretly trying to capture him and make him pay for killing her parents.
Vaguely.
She ended up damaging the plant and trying to capture him, and in that he goes into the plant and fixes it.
Okay.
So it's something that we've gotten in the original before.
Powered by two balloons.
Also seems like a lot of places in this are named after months. She
Yep,
went to the
which
November Academy or University.
you gotta have your naming scheme. Classic Vash getting beaten up.
I'd stay more still if you quit hitting me. Sounds like a pretty long headline to me. I don't think that'll
Not sure you
make the
can.
page.
Yeah, I'm not sure it could fit.
Actually, the suggestion of it makes you sound like a pretty bad reporter. I also don't like the depiction of Meryl as a coward.
He's just a total nerd. He can't possibly win a duel.
I'm kind of also wondering where he got the Seeds patch from. Like, did the escape pod have a Velcro patch on it?
Maybe. We got some nice music going on, at least.
Yeah, that thing
Okay,
that we
okay.
clearly didn't see.
It got me. It got me, though. Your the rest of your team needs to be alive. What do you think the cluster munition's gonna do?
Also, what about the plant? Yeah, how dare you, a woman, try to do anything? Damn the show.
Look, he's hiding too. All right.
Yeah, because apparently he knew better.
It's the gun. Bad time to be out of ammo.
Well, I mean, the other guy threw him his gun, so. And it's a gold gun, too, so. It's like a gun in a holster laying next to you on the ground.
See, Bash, this is why you should have chosen 9mm. Everyone's got 9mm.
Also, looks like an incredible amount of reaction time everybody has.
It does take about 5 minutes for those
Hey,
the cluster munitions to hit.
what was this dude's plan? I fire the rocket and then hope this guy doesn't run away.
Okay, that's just a good shot. But why would you bother?
Yeah, I literally shot another bullet out of the air. This guy. To be fair, that bullet should be actually traveling a lot faster than that. Sorry, did she say just like a pour?
I think that's what I saw too.
What the fuck does that mean?
He moves like they do.
That was the other part of the overlay.
There you go. Yeah, no, that's a good stance and a good shot.
I mean, not for nothing. He did shoot another bullet out of the air.
Yeah, just play it off. No one will figure it out for 2 seasons.
Don't put that evil on us, Griff.
Backstory.
Yeah, I guess we're just getting into this. Why? Just we
It's called making him
escaped?
feel guilty for no reason.
No, I just mean he's not an accomplice just because he survived. Now let me play the organ just so you know how evil I really am.
No, it's just a piano.
Now there's organs in the back. It's an organ. Yeah, and a far better show. See? I guess that's something we missed out on from the original anime. So I have no idea what the fuck that was.
Yeah, the original didn't spend a whole lot of time on knives, I think.
I did a lot of setup. They said we got a full, I want to say almost 2 episodes of Knives and his motivations, which I
Right,
believe
but not
was jealousy.
right. It kind of came at the very end of the series. Also,
Yeah,
those are just okay. Um,
that's a cool
I guess
outro.
definitely. I think that what I'm thinking right now is that at least in this one, I have a clear idea of like what the overall story is now as compared to like the original.
I think it's impossible to make that assertion because we already knew what the story was. It's impossible to ignore the fact
True.
that we
We can't
both.
remove that from our minds.
Right. That is not. If you came here for a Trigun free Trigun Stampede
Mhm.
reaction, not going to happen here. That is impossible. For the next however many episodes, I will constantly be referring back to the superior show.
At
Um,
least as far as this goes, it is all going to be new content, I think, more or less.
until they burn through the 40% of content from the original. Let's see, do we get it
And then
next
we get to
time?
their filler arcs. Nope, just map painting.
Yep, which is apparently the
Cool
new
looking.
thing that we do. Yeah, it's a real shame that the matte painting at the end of the show is better than the animation during the show. Like, if
It's
this,
no Chainsaw Man, that's for sure,
or
but
even Gundam, which were Mercury. But, yeah, no, if the animation here, like if the smoke was rising up and this guy stood up and walked away, that would be an amazing animation style.
mhm.
Instead of the pseudo CGI that we're getting.
So when it comes to like CGI stuff, right? We've already made our comparisons here, but I want to make a brand new one, and that's to the Clone Wars series, the CGI one. And when it started out, its animation was in fact also garbage. But eventually it got better and looked a whole lot better and actually became very good. Um, my question here, of course, is going to be: will it get better over the course of the series? This is one episode; it's the only one out, and we got to see more of it, right?
Well, as I said, the animation style here reminds me heavily of Nino Kunai, the animated scene, the non-animated scenes, otherwise known as the really bad CGI between. And I just looked it up, and that came out 2010. So the
Mhm.
art style on display here is about 13 years old.
Right. So they bought an engine, they did their things, and I guess they're just working with it. Um, my biggest concern is, of course, the continual over exaggeration of literally everything. Like, the first thing I came to mind was like, oh, they're moving very slowly because they're hyper exaggerating everything. Maybe they'll tone that back down. But at least when it comes to like somebody doing actual action, like the whole Vash duel that was going on, that looked a lot better than the casual stuff going on. That felt more like it was in place. That's my feeling right now.
It was mad to me because it was maybe. How long did you say that lasted?
5 to 7 minutes.
2 minutes of that, I would say, was padding.
Mm-hmm.
Bash freaking out, the other guy laughing maniacally. It
Mm-hmm.
just, there was extra shit there that didn't have to be there. Whereas,
No, I totally agree.
in
The scene itself was stretched.
the original, it would have been Vash dodging bullets or shit, right? And like yelling out taunts and laughing. Action. There would have been action there. And their version of action here is just, anybody got a 22 caliber? And why can't we help them?
But I mean, like when he gets into motion, when stuff is happening, when they're clearly trying to animate manga inspired panels, like the entire scene where the soldiers running at Vash, that's definitely a frame that they wanted to make sure they had.
Well, even
This
again,
that stuff looks a lot better, I think. I think it is more fitting, and when we see a better scene later on that maybe isn't like very padded, we'll feel better about the animation because in the action it will look good.
even again, the original Vash in the early set was doing stuff that could have easily been misconstrued as accidental, right? Like, oh, I
Here he's very
tripped.
clearly not.
Yeah, I tripped and my gun went off, and the bullet broke the guy's belt. So instead of fighting, he's pulling his pants up. Clearly just an accident. Whereas this guy sets off multiple mid-air explosives with a rock and a single bullet. Intentional. There was
And
no,
specifically, Matrix dodges shots at point blank from a handgun.
yeah, there was no accidental shit. He's not hiding the fact of who he is. So maybe that was all filler, right? The whole,
Maybe.
I'm not Vash. Ah, that's funny. Maybe all that shit was the filler. Maybe like,
Uh, we're, we're gonna have to see, I think,
man, if you
yeah.
put it into that context, right? Here we started off with the Nye, Vash, space colony shit exploding. That was the end of the original. put it in that context, right? I want to make a Bash, I want to make a Trigun anime. Well, what do we've got? I have literally one chapter. It starts with the colony ships in orbit. Well, yeah, but you're gonna have to start animating something now. All right, I'll make up 10 episodes of bullshit, and we'll dead end at the one chapter that we
Let's make
actually
a
have.
Western and have some cool stuff happen. That's it. It's like, cool, we got that.
And then we'll end it with the one chapter we actually had. I don't know.
Gosh.
It's insane to consider this thing starts where the other one ends, but
Mhm.
not connected at all. I don't like the new Meryl. She is like, I don't know, she's just gawking at the camera, basically. Robert De Niro isn't fun. I mean, he's not pulling off the drunk fun mentor. He's just, ah, you kids.
He's playing up like the grizzled veteran who's like beyond caring too much about this, but also is trying to like actually be at least slightly informative or helpful. But yeah, no, I think we just need more time with it to see where this goes. Is this how it's going to be forever, or is there going to be changes and interesting things or contextualizations?
Because his lineup, by comparison, is that he's Meryl.
Hmm.
He's Meryl from the original, who was fun and entertaining. And in this, he's not. And Meryl, by comparison, is Millie, who is not adorable at all, even if she dances on the camera for a minute and a half for no reason.
True, true, true.
They are
I
not
think,
equal to their contemporaries.
well, not in episode one anyway. Like I said, my hope or expectation is that they grow as characters and become more like the thing that we think about or remember.
Well, you're saying not in episode one, but I'm literally only only comparing episode one to episode one.
Right.
You remember how Vash gets introduced in the original episode one?
I've forgotten. Tell me.
He's sitting at a bar, and they call him out, and they literally, what's it like, Predators? You remember Predators when they chain gun the jungle? They chain gun, basically, the bar he's sitting at until it's completely wiped away. Like individual bullet holes, whole thing is opened up, and he's just sitting behind the metal door. Like,
Mhm.
like he's still drinking at the bar, but the metal door is just boom, sat there now. That's the action. That's the action intro we get for Vash. How do we
Right.
get
There's
introduced
an
to him here?
economy of animation right there. That is, I feel a lot of budget when you describe that.
Well, except that that was animated and not CGI generated.
Mhm.
Versus this Vash, who we get introduced to just hanging from a thing.
Right. Still, you know me. I don't like to judge too harshly until we get to the very end, and then I go ahead and flip positions, apparently. But
Yeah, if this follows the
at the
IBO,
very
I'm
least,
gonna hate for 12 episodes and tell you that I enjoyed it at the end. And you're gonna get all the love from the audience for not judging it harshly. And at the end, say, you know, this kind of sucked.
but here's one positive thing I think we do agree on. Vash is entirely on point. At least as far as characterization, who he is, and what we remember, that's Vash.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, there's arguments I could make, but at the end of the day, if you look at the original run as a whole, he's still basically the same character.
Mhm. He's a big dorky goof in a very big coat, who also tries not to kill people. So I think I think there will be more fun to be had, but we'll just have to see in the future. I think we're gonna go ahead, we'll wrap up for the day, and we'll watch more Trigun together later. This has been Stoneface Reactions, everyone. I'm Griffin, that's Theta, and we'll catch you next time. See you around. Hey everybody, thanks for watching another Stone-Faced Reactions. If you have an idea of another video we could go ahead and watch, go ahead and put it in the comments down below and we'll add it to the wheel. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe and let us know what you thought about this video and what parts you liked. And until then, we'll see you next time. Is this too goofy?